Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in for another exciting episode of the Three Frosted Mugs, a Fiad Group Entertainment production. And a big thank you, as always, to AJ Studios for the graphics and post-production work. I'm Rodney. Here with me are Chad.
Hello, Steven.
And Conway.
Hey, Steven. Thanks for turning in.
I turned in.
Turning in.
And Matt, that was Matt, our producer, is also here making sure we don't screw up any of the equipment and making fun of me. And we also have someone else new here in studio. We have Paige.
Hello, intern Paige.
How you doing?
We all said hi to Paige and not Matt.
Yeah, well, I'm used to Matt being here. Paige is new blood in the studio. All right, how's everyone doing today, guys?
Good. Good.
Good. All right. Awesome. I'm excited to get started in some conversation here. So we just had our first week of preseason, right? Preseason games.
Yeah, but I mean it's week one of the preseason, so you're not going to see a lot of the stars, I guess you could say. You're kind of going to see the guys that really want those. As you know, we had George in here last week, and you kind of get guys like he was telling us that need the reps right now, that want the coach's look.
That's right. We didn't see big names like Tom Brady didn't play at all during the first preseason game.
Yeah.
Well, before we go into that real quick, speaking of George having him in the studio, was that kind of
that was awesome.
Getting an insight like that from somebody that's been there, done that? I mean, was that cool or what? I mean, that's the first time I've ever interviewed anybody.
I mean, I wanted to talk to him for about an hour after the whole interview was over.
I think we did. We pretty much.
I think we held him in the parking lot for like 2.5 hours afterwards.
I mean, we only meant to have him here for one segment, and then we kept him here for all three, which was awesome. I'm glad that he was able to stay.
Something he did tell us, we were outside. Obviously we were picking his brain as much as possible. His first two jumps after a couple years of not jumping in high school, his first two triple jumps. Indoor and outdoor, he broke the school record at Wake Forest. I mean,
that's awesome.
That's ridiculous.
That's just pure athleticism, and I guess muscle memory, right? Because he did do those prior to.
Yeah, he was sitting there. He said he was looking at the records, and he's like, "Is that active? Is that the active record?" He goes, "I could jump that right now in my flip flops." And
I don't think I've ever triple jumped before in my life.
Do you know how to triple jump?
No.
It's like 1 foot, like either left, right.
I could do 3 bunny hops at one time.
What do you got? A Schwinn?
On a BMX?
You got a bunny hop?
Left, right. What do you hop on one leg twice and then hit your right leg and then?
Yeah, like if you're gonna do it, like your left leg, and then jump off with your right.
I can't even. I feel like I would break my leg.
That's gonna be our next bet. Is
I would love to see Steven
how long
jump.
you could triple jump.
I mean, do we need something special for that? Don't we need like a bunch of sand or something? Or?
We need somebody that knows how to triple jump.
Hey, we got spray paint. We'll just go back to Marshall Park. That's all we need.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Scott.
I'm in the best shape of my life at the end of this season.
Yeah, but no, that was a lot of fun. We got to
definitely need to get him to come back in the middle of the season and talk a little bit about fantasy or
because he's a big fantasy player, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it would be awesome to get him back in.
Maybe we'll get him to take us out for a round of golf and we can chew his ear out there.
It'd be awesome.
I love it.
Go to Lee's Hill.
But in talking about George, in preseason and everything, preseason to me is you look at two things. You look at the kids that you don't normally get to see. If there's rookies coming out or somebody that you really want to see. But other than that, you're excited that it starts, and then once it starts, it's like. Nobody knows how to tackle. Everyone's out of position. Yeah. But it's good for the players that's trying to make a team. That's what the preseason for. Get a little bit in tune.
Well, I've been watching Hard Knocks, and like the last episode, you could see that like how important that preseason game was. Yeah. For those rookies who are coming, especially the undrafted rookies who are coming in there and trying to.
Well, you think of the guys like that. George said one of his fondest memories over the Super Bowl was his first preseason game he played in. So you take that in perspective as what's going through some of these kids' minds, and that changes your whole perspective as far as what they're going through. Now, from a fan's perspective, I want to see Tom Brady. I don't want to see somebody else that we don't really know of. So I mean, you want to see the guys play football.
I was pretty excited to see. I watched all of Dallas's preseason game and I checked out a few other ones, but not from beginning to end. I didn't check out the first half because Brandon Weeden was playing, and
we know what
I've seen all of Brandon Weeden. Yeah, but I was very excited to see their other quarterback, Dustin Vaughn. Right?
Yep.
Man, that boy has a strong arm. It's exciting.
He's raw.
That's the only thing that you can get excited about because I watched 3 quarters of him, pretty much the end of the second and the second half, and no one on Dallas can tackle.
I mean, what did that change from last year?
Right, from the number ones to the guys that's not even going to be on the team.
You couldn't tell the difference. But now here's the thing. Let me ask you this. Hypothetical. Love hypotheticals. Let's say Romo comes back. Now he's mid to late 30s. He's 36.
8'8".
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
Sorry, go
this
ahead.
is
Go
different.
ahead.
We already know. No, that'd be a stretch. Let's say he goes down in like week 3, back injury. He's hurt. From what you've seen from Dustin Vaughn, would you rather go with your backup, put Whedon in, or would you rather say, hey, let's give this kid a shot if he makes the team? In
Dustin
fact,
Vaughn may not even make the team. He's got to beat out Caleb Haney. They put him on the practice squad. I mean, the kid had a strong arm, but
he'll beat out
everything
Caleb
that they
Haney.
ran out of was the spread, which he's used to, so they kept it comfortable for him. So, but he did have the arm strength. He had NFL arm strength to me. I mean, he was throwing back shoulder throws 30 yards down the field on the line. So, if you cannot beat out Caleb Haney, I don't think that you're going to find a roster anyway. So maybe he'll be all right. But honestly, if Romo goes down and Whedon comes in, we'll probably be 8-8. I mean, that's what we're going to be. We're mediocre.
Same circus, different tent.
Yeah, it does. I mean, when you have, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear about the Cowboys, but when you watch the Cowboys every single year, nothing changes. I mean, it's the same ownership. These coaches, after this year, they may take them out of there and put in new coaches, but it's all going to be Jerry Jones puppets.
How cool would it be if we got John Gruden and he had both the Gruden guys?
I mean, if you're a Redskin fan, you should be excited for football this year.
Oh,
I mean,
definitely.
Brand new coach coming in that's hungry, never been a head coach, and he's a Gruden. You have Deshaun Jackson who can, run from here to D.C.
And we'll get a look at him on Monday.
And you got some
40
great tight
seconds.
ends.
Right. I mean,
I hate to say all these good things about Washington, but there's a lot of good buzz going around in Washington right now if you're a football fan.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like, you can have all the most delicious ingredients and still make crappy food. You know what I mean? Like, it's all got to come together, right? And the biggest thing is...
Why would you, this is what I don't get too about some Washington fans, is you hear a lot of this talk of now, Kirk Cousins is looking good. Why don't they give Cousins a shot? Be happy you finally got a quarterback, that you can, say you got a franchise quarterback, and now you want to try to say, no, his backup might be just as good. Be happy with what you got.
Well, one thing about the Redskins fans, they're not going to be happy with anything that they get.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I mean, and it should be a comforting thing to have a backup so good and have, because you already have a quarterback that constantly puts himself in position to get hurt.
I'd rather have Kirk Cousins than our
Brandon
backup.
Weeden.
Yeah, true.
I'll take Kirk Cousins over Tony Romo. Give him to me.
Hey, that's not a stretch.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Because they've been talking about Romo's deep ball being affected by his back surgery. Is that right?
Romo, to me, has never been able to throw that deep fly. I mean, it's, he trying to throw the ball to the sideline is not his forte. He can throw the seam pattern great. I mean,
He gets a lot of help from really good receivers.
right, he does. I mean, Romo is Romo. We're not going to waste a whole lot of time talking about him because it makes me depressed. But, he just... The team is not going to get any better. The defense isn't going to get any better. I mean,
Same old song and dance.
Right.
It is what it is.
Let's talk about Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, let's. So what was?
He looked a lot better than a lot of people thought. A lot of people thought he was going to look as bad as Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Who looked kind of lost.
What was he, 6 for 9 or 9 for 11? What was his?
Teddy Bridgewater. I'm not sure of his numbers, but Bridgewater, man, it just. He keeps throwing balls in the dirt. I mean, it's just he doesn't look comfortable.
It was like Donovan McNabb late in his career.
Right.
You just cannot complete a pass. It gets in some guys' heads.
But no, Manziel looked cool under pressure. Made a couple strong throws.
He was 6 of 13 for 49 yards with a 3.8 average.
Speaking
And
of
I
which,
think he lost the fire and fumbled.
me and Steven and the boys are going to watch him play Monday night.
No.
Yep.
Yep.
See Manziel live in action.
Very
That's
excited
awesome.
about that.
Yeah, it's now he looked good. Now I think they broke down some of the tape, and he didn't always, go through his progressions perfect, but he didn't make that mistake.
Yeah.
I think they were nitpicking, but there was somebody open he should have hit or whatever.
It was the one run for first down. We had the fullback.
Yeah,
open.
but he didn't make that crucial mistake when he ran. Yeah, that one time he did have the ball way out here. He was carrying
He's
it
going to
outside.
turn the ball over. I mean, he's going to be one of those ones until he gets used to tucking the ball. He's going to run like Michael Vick. It's.
Did he do anything that would make you think he's going to have the start over Hoyer? I mean,
Well,
compared to the two.
Here's the thing: he didn't play against the ones,
Mhm.
and in preseason it's going to be tough unless it's probably the first quarter of preseason game 2 or the first 3 quarters of preseason game 3. That's the only time the ones will be in there at all. The ones won't be in there at all 4th preseason game. So if he's going to get his reps against ones, he's got to do it in the next 2 games.
Right.
So we can sit here and say, hey, these guys look good. These guys look good. It's just a small sample size, I guess you could say,
Sure.
because you're playing against 2s and 3s, and in fact, it's preseason.
Right.
A lot of the guys, even the ones, they're playing, but they're playing not so much playing not to get hurt, but they're not going all out and trying to kill other ones.
Well, the Redskins proved that preseason really has very little to do with the regular season last year when I believe they won all 4 preseason games and then went 3-13.
And coaches want to win preseason games. Of course, a coach doesn't want to go out there and coach to lose, but a coach is, for them, this is all about evaluation and keeping people healthy. Tom Brady doesn't. I mean, what good is it going to do for Tom Brady to go out there and play 4 preseason games?
Yeah, that's true.
What good does it do for Peyton Manning to go out there and play 4 preseason games?
Do you really need a sample size of those guys?
Right. And, and some people
We're still not
I wanna,
convinced.
I want to cut back the preseason or I want to do this. But, really, honestly, the preseason is for the coaches to figure out what their roster is.
Well, all right. Well, like you're just saying
And not
that
just
right now.
in their roster, they're not just talking about their team.
Yeah.
They're looking at other teams and say, hey, who do we need? Who can we pick up?
Yeah.
Like Dallas, we just picked up we traded a Ben Bass, our defensive tackle, for Justin Gilbert or something so that just shows whether it's a good move or not. It's irrelevant right now, but that just shows you're looking at other people constantly.
Right.
Speaking of pickups, did y'all notice the big pickup that the Cleveland Browns picked up this week?
The original
Sexy
RG3.
Rexy.
Yep.
I mean, man, he is just following Kyle Shanahan.
He is going to make a career. He may be a third-string quarterback until he's 50 years old. Why not? Smart guy, knows the game of football, knows,
there's a lot of decent
Shanahan
quarterbacks
system.
that made a lot of money being a career
Should we
backup.
start writing the biopic about Rex Grossman and his love career with Kyle Shanahan?
I was a huge Rex Grossman fan. Rex Grossman was one of the best college quarterbacks that played the game.
It's because you love
His
Florida.
name is Rex. It's,
I love
You love
back in
Florida quarterback.
Back in the 90s, Rex was probably the coolest name ever.
Is Rex short for anything?
T-Rex. I don't know. Tyrannosaurus Rex. I don't know.
Rex Arthur, the third.
Well, the other subject to talk about was preseason going on, training camps ending. How can we not talk about the fight with the Oakland Raiders and the Dallas Cowboys?
Oh man! All right, so co-practice.
Right. So all of these.
Where were they?
videos-
Were they in California?
Oxnard, California.
Okay,
yeah.
so they were in
Oxnard,
Raiders
yeah.
territory, basically.
Yeah, but that's where Cowboys training camp is. So
okay.
it was at Cowboys training camp, but plenty of Oakland fans.
No, sure, yeah.
And this fight breaks out, and the fan. Have you seen the video of the fan trying to get into it or whatnot?
With the helmet?
I was too embarrassed to watch any video.
And it
on
brings the question. You went to training camp this year at Redskins,
Yeah, a couple times,
But it brings the question: is are they going to change training camp on how close everyone's going to be? Because if you go to Redskins training camp, you're 5 yards from the field.
From me to the computer, basically, to Tom Brady.
You were trying to think of our intern's name. You can't think of it again.
Paige,
You
I was
still
from
don't
me.
know it.
I was also thinking no one has a reference for where Paige is in the room, so
Right.
she's literally like 3.5 feet away from me. But yeah, so when Tom Brady and Bill Belichick walked over me, I could have literally thrown a rock at one of them. They were so close. Not that I would do that at all.
Throw a rock at Tom Brady.
Yeah, I would not do that.
Well, if he
make
gets
sure
that
you
rock,
don't play.
he can throw it back at you a little bit harder than you
Right.
can throw it at him.
He'll hit you on a deep cross as you're running away.
Well, there's always going to be, change. Something like this happens. The main thing this told me is still under Jason Garrett, 3+ years, how undisciplined Dallas still is.
Sure.
Definitely.
It's embarrassing. You're a professional football team, and you're out here, you got another team in, so you're seeing, different players. You're tired of beating up on your own guys. And then something like, whether or not it was Dallas's fault or not, there was still retaliation, even if it wasn't. But it's just stupid. It's undisciplined.
did you see
it's not what a
people-
good football team does.
They were running and diving on top of the pile. There was the whole team, both teams were involved pretty much. It was insane.
It's embarrassing for a
one
Dallas
of the
fan.
worst scuffles I've seen.
Scuffle, not a
think it was a
not
scrum.
a scrum.
Just to bring
or a
that
scruff.
back. All right, so I had said scruff before
It's
in
scruff.
reference to a little fight, and then you said scrum, and I think George also agreed
I said
with you on
scuffle,
that.
but
You
y'all
said
heard
scuffle.
scruffle and called me out.
We
so
didn't hear
I'll
scruffle.
go along with it.
I heard scruffle, but anyway, it is a scuffle. So just so everyone knows that, I do correct myself.
All right, you want to let's change things up. You want to play Ask Stevens? Do you want to do it in the first
Yeah,
segment?
we're gonna do it a little sooner. I like it.
Doing a little different Ask Steven this week.
Yeah, I think we're
It's
gonna
got a
do. We're gonna
theme.
do sports movies.
Yep.
I like the theme.
Stevens probably more of a movie buff than sports buff, but he didn't have cable for a while. We'll give him a little leeway. Apparently, he did have DVDs and Netflix, so he does know about movies.
I was advised by our graphics designer that I'm not allowed to keep score anymore because apparently I cannot count.
You're a terrible scorekeeper.
So I'm going to announce the scores as they're going and update. So if I'm wrong, our producer can correct me then.
All right.
But
I'll write
you
them
still
down.
lost. No matter how you added up last week, you still lost.
Don't care.
Loser.
All right, you want me to start?
Yeah, start this off.
All right. Easy layup question. You ready?
Yes. Wait, what's the theme here? Isn't there a theme? What's
Sports
Okay,
movies.
sorry.
Yeah. Listen, are you even listening?
No.
Are you with us?
No, I'm here.
What's on your laptop?
Get off IMDb.
No, it's just the
He is on
notes and stuff.
IMDb.
Do you
I'm
know what
not on
IMDb stands for?
Internet Movie Database.
See, I mean, the guy knows everything
I had
about
no
movies.
idea. I just lost the layup right there.
That's right, Matt, right?
All right.
1 point.
Woo! That should be a bonus.
All right, so how I'm going to do this is I'm going to name the movie that the question's coming from, so you know that part of it.
Okay.
And if you've never seen the movie, too bad.
Okay.
But I think all these movies you've seen.
Sure.
I
So
kind
my-
of kept it easy. Mine might not be as hard because I didn't know where his sports movie knowledge was, so might have a bunch of free throws over here.
All right, so my first question is, you ready?
Yep.
In the movie Rudy,
Okay.
what college did Rudy attend?
Well, Notre Dame is what he ended up. He was at another little school prior to that to get into Notre Dame.
Right.
Yeah.
You have a point.
1 point.
Yes. I was stretching for a
Amanda, the
half point
score
there.
is 1-0, Steven.
After this, he could go
After
anywhere.
this, I'm done.
All right. You ready for my layup?
I'm ready.
What was Kevin Costner's name in the movie Tin Cup?
I know. I always
Wow,
mess up
I have
how
a
to
10
say
cup
it.
question, too.
It's Roy McAvoy. Is that right?
Yes. It's
Okay. I always
Roy,
mess.
not
always
Roy
mess him up.
McElroy.
Yeah, I always
It's
mess up with
Roy
McElroy.
Steven, you now have 2 points.
Yes.
All right, you ready? In the
Yes.
movie Field of Dreams,
Oh, good movie. Classic. Love it.
what was the baseball player / doctor's name that walked off the field when the little girl was choking on a hot dog?
Oh, I definitely do not know the name, but I'm just gonna make something up. Skip Lajinsky.
That's a good guess. It was pretty close.
You're
It
very close.
was Moonlight Graham.
How was that anywhere close to that? But it was
But it sounded good.
Moonlight Graham.
That might have been a
Moonlight Graham.
three-pointer because that was a tough one.
That is hard.
I would have
I
had to
thought
noodle
that was
for a
easy,
minute.
though. I mean,
Well, yeah.
I mean, how many times have you watched Field of Dreams?
at least 72.
Yeah, and probably I've watched it 6.
What does the little girl choke on in the bleachers? What did she choke
said
on?
hot
Oh,
dog.
did you say hot dog? I don't listen to you.
I know.
I just heard you say choking. All right, you
Maybe
ready?
I didn't say hot dog.
We'll,
You
we'll
did.
check it back.
It's a hot
He
dog.
did. All right. Thanks.
I was
Matt.
right.
All right. Whose life was the movie Raging Bull based on?
Frank LaMotta. Or, I'm sorry, Jack LaMotta. Jack LaMotta.
We'll give
Is
him
that-
that.
It's Jack LaMotta.
It's Jake, but not Jake from State Farm, but Jake LaMotta, the boxer.
Are we going to give him the LaMotta?
And we'll give it to him.
We'll give it to him. So I think that's a total of 4 points that you have right now. 4 points.
That is correct.
I think his friends called him Jack.
If not,
I
they
don't
should
even think
have.
my 3-point question is a 3-point question right now.
Your
Maybe we
three, I
should switch
guarantee
them.
it's going to be easier
Switch
than
them.
your Moonlight
Switch
Graham.
them. Give me the other one. I'll say Moonlight Graham for this. Give me the points.
All right. In the movie Tin Cup,
Uh-huh.
on the 18th hole in the final round,
Uh-huh.
what was Roy McAvoy's score?
Oh, good one. Let me answer it if you don't get it.
12.
That's correct.
That is correct. You should ask him how many balls he dumped in the water.
No one's going to remember the par. They'll remember that 12, though.
That's the best 12 ever.
That was his last ball, too.
Get your dog and old
Was.
people away from me. Sorry, good.
Then Cheech ran off with Chong.
What?
Was that Cheech or is that Chong?
That's Cheech. Cheech Marin, yeah.
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 The one that had a career after the Cheech and Chong movies. The other one was just
right.
selling balls.
Chong had a career, but
All right, here we go. This is my three-pointer. What team was in Remember the Titans? What was the main team?
the Titans.
What
was
high-
the name of the
what was the high
school?
school?
What was the school? I know it's in Northern Virginia, and I cannot for the life of me remember it.
Yeah, because there's not many schools in Northern Virginia, so you can narrow them down.
TC Bird,
Gosh, that was close.
That was really close. We should
Is it
actually give
T.C.
you
Williams?
half a point.
TC Williams.
It was T.C. Williams.
I
Yeah.
say we give it to him.
We're giving it to him.
I say we should.
Why don't where
not
did
TC
I get
Burger.
Bird from? Where is that from?
Now, if my adding is correct, you got 3, 6, 8, 10 points. How many points does he need to win?
15, right?
I think so.
Yep.
All right, last question. You ready?
Okay.
In the movie The Program,
Good
what
movie.
was the quarterback's name?
Oh man, I haven't seen that movie since I was like 8. which is a weird movie for an 8-year-old to be watching.
Yeah, why would you be watching the program at age 8?
I don't know.
Where-
so I'm
where's
gonna
your
say
supervision at?
I'm gonna say Skip Lajinsky.
In Kane we trust.
And Kane we trust. Joe Kane.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
All right, you need this.
All right, and then if you get this, this would be the biggest. This would be shocker.
Okay.
This would be like Mason in 06 going to the Final Four. What was the name of Fast Eddie Felson's pool cue in The Color of Money?
Oh gosh.
My gosh.
Classic movie. How do you
I
not-
know. I just watched this. What was the name of the pool cue?
I think it was Frank.
I'm gonna say Rose. I have no idea.
No, it was the Babushka.
The Babushka.
Well, you lost.
That's all right.
We have to find your niche. We have to find a subject where you can.
Well,
you
I mean,
can-
these are pretty detailed. I mean, like I don't have the memory of, I can't watch a movie and go, oh, the Rosebud. That was the name of the sled. Rosebud. You don't even know what movie I'm talking about.
No,
That's
not at
Citizen
all.
Kane. Rosebud.
We don't watch classic movies.
Yes, you do. All
We're
the
too
movies
busy
you just
watching-
mentioned were
We're
classic.
watching the program and
Right.
Those
the
are
Color of Money.
classic. Those are awesome. You don't know what other movie that crazy guy from the program was in. The one with the painted his face.
Lattimore?
Yeah, he took the steroids.
He was in. No, I don't.
He was the son in Batman Returns that gets kidnapped by the Penguin for a hot minute before Christopher Walken gives himself up. It's Christopher Walken's son in that movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Good story.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, we're going to take a little bit of a break. I'm going to recuperate from this defeat and look up some IMDb things. All right. Well, we'll be right back with some more discussion. We're going into the PGA Championship a little bit, and I'm sure we'll come right back to football at some point. Thanks. And we are back for the second segment of episode 5 of the Three Frosted Mugs. Thank you for sticking with us. And we wanted to move into the PGA Championship that took place over this past weekend. And, of course, another win by Rory McIlroy. Or is it McIlroy? I was actually looking at his last name. It's MCI.
McIlroy?
Is it McIlroy? Is it McIlroy? I don't know.
It's called Rich.
Yeah, Rich. Just call him Rich.
Roy Rich.
Yeah, so that was his fourth major before turning 25 years old, which put him in a list of, well, technically 4 people in total, him and 3 others. So he would be the 4th golfer to do that, to achieve 4 majors before turning 25.
Who's the other ones?
Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, and then there was a young guy by the name of
Hogan?
No, some other guy.
Tom Morris.
I can look it up.
Already
But
looked
tell me
it
your
up.
thoughts
Well,
about
before I want to tell you, I got a kind of a little something I want to say about the whole McIlroy era everybody's talking about. I still want to see him. Yeah, he's playing. He's the best player on the planet right now. Okay, nobody can beat him, especially if he's driving the golf ball the way he does. But when it comes to the majors he won, here's a little stat I'm gonna throw out there. The 2011 U.S. Open at Congressional got a ton of rain. A couple weeks leading up, golf course played easy. He won a U.S. Open at 16 under par. There was a lot of golfers under par. The 2012 PGA at Kiowa Island, supposed to be a ton of wind, hard golf course. There was no wind. The golf course played easy. He won at 13 under par. There was a lot of golfers under par. The Open this year, Royal Liverpool, didn't play all that hard. There was a lot of golfers under par. He was 17 under par. Then just, recently at Valhalla, at the PGA, a lot of golfers under par. He was 16 under par. That being said, what I'm leading to is he hasn't won a tough major yet. He's
Oh,
won.
my
He has
gosh.
not won a tough major yet.
Wow.
I mean,
They're just he's playing. To me, the golf tournaments he's played, yes, they're majors, but they have not been that tough major.
You know what he just
does
did?
he love
You know what
Tiger
he just
that
did?
much? I mean, seriously, does he love Tiger that
He
much?
basically just looked at the claret jug. What's the jug for the PGA? That cup?
claret
the,
jug, yeah.
the Wanamaker.
The water maker.
Looking at Rory right now and saying, what's that?
Hey, but it doesn't matter. I preceded by saying he's the best golfer on the planet.
Asterisk.
But am I right though? In a way, don't get
That's
me wrong.
like saying, don't take this the wrong way, but you're totally ugly. I mean,
but I mean
don't
that in
take
a
that
good way.
the wrong
Hey,
way.
with-
I said don't
with
take
all
it.
due respect, it's one of those with all due respect. But you see what I'm saying though? He has not won that U.S. Open where it was only a couple golfers under par.
Yeah.
So what if he wins the Masters?
Well, yeah, because the Masters, it doesn't matter. The Masters is Augusta. That golf course is the same every year. You're not playing the elements. You're playing Augusta. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll give him all the credit in the world for winning being this young, winning 4 majors. Now, anybody that wins 1 major, give him all the credit in the world. I want to see him win that tough major.
No, but so how close has he come to the Masters?
Well, I don't know.
Didn't he, wasn't it that year? Wasn't it him that hooked it way to the left, and the announcer said, "Oh, I've never seen anyone play from that front yard before."
The cabins or something over there.
So being young,
but that was his first time there.
Yeah, and he was leading one day, right?
The guy won 3 tournaments in a row, and 2 of those 3 are majors. I don't.
The other was a WGC.
Yeah, I don't care if there's every golfer was under par. He won. That's it.
I mean,
Hey, it's like football. I don't care if the score's 2-0. You won.
Not only did he win, but he was like, "I'm finishing it right now in the dark of night of Valhalla."
Well, to me, what impressed him is when he went down by 3, and then on the back 9, number 10. Number 10 was so impressive that it wasn't even funny. I mean, it was
the Eagle.
Yeah.
Did he really mean to hit that shot though? Come on. Did he really mean to hit that
We're
shot?
rolled up pin high right beside the
Yeah,
hole.
Rory, I'm sorry. One of our Frosty Mugs just he
You
doesn't
saw the
like
look on his face after hitting. Faldo even said, I mean,
he's so destroyed
he skirted
by Tiger
that ball,
Woods.
man. Come on, let's be honest. He hit it and was like, oh no.
But then took advantage of it and made an eagle.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll hang out with you, Rory.
Me too.
Yeah, I'll be your friend.
Not me. I'm
I'll
going to hang out with
drink
Tiger
Jaeger.
and Lindsey Vonn. You're going to hang out with Rory.
Hey, but Rory's single, man. He's going through all the clubs now and getting all the hot ladies.
And now, if we want to talk about whose pick was the best, I believe my golfer came in 4th.
You picked 9
Tied for
golfers. You can't pick 9 golfers and have the
You
best
did.
pick.
I mean, I'm starting to feel sorry for Ricky Fowler. I mean, I am.
Who was it?
I mean, he's playing his best golf and just can't. He just can't finish.
Was it Greg Norman? Was that the golfer who couldn't finish and couldn't?
Yeah, for the longest time. Yep.
Yeah.
He got a couple, but his big blow up at the Masters is probably the most. The one that Faldo won was probably his most devastating loss, I guess you could say.
Well,
I mean, is that what's going to happen to Ricky? Is he just going to be
No,
just
because
good
he didn't
enough?
really have devastating losses. Like he didn't go into the final round with a 3, 4, 5, 6
right.
shot lead and tank it.
Right.
Rory's right there playing great golf, and just there's always been somebody. This year, Rory McIlroy, a stroke or 2 better.
Yeah.
But if you put yourself there enough times and you get that experience. I mean, you would almost think now nothing's a given, but you would almost have to think he's got to get one sooner or later.
It was Tom Morris at age 21 who won his 4th at the 1872 British Open. So there is some discrepancy. So pre 1900, won a 4th.
That was an easy British Open.
Yeah.
It wasn't that tough.
our producer would like to tell you something.
Yes.
Conway did already inform you of this.
So you did say Tom. You did say this gentleman right here. I was going to ask you that too. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I mean, what do you got to do? Bring the producer into this. You can't say something yourself. You're right beside me.
I'm having my producer fight my battle.
I like it. All right.
But let's talk about the championship. I guess they played at a putt-putt course, and Rory, didn't really win a major or anything like this.
Well,
but how exciting was it? I mean, to me, it was the most exciting major I've watched this year.
Oh yeah.
Well, that had a lot to do
down.
with all the rain, right? They were able to go for the flag and make some shots that
To
probably.
me, yeah. I mean, once
Yeah.
that course is wet
You're playing
like that,
target
you're firing
golf.
at
You don't
it.
have to worry about how far is this ball going to roll out. Like most of the majors he's won, you don't have to worry about how far it's going to roll out. You're playing target golf. Then these guys are programmed. All right, I'm gonna hit my 7-iron 182 yards right on the button.
Well, how many times did Ricky Fowler get a drop from free water or whatever it was? Like in the
standing
middle of
water.
the fairway, he'd get to drop again because his ball would get plugged.
And
or
Phil would only
sit
be a
in
couple
water.
yards away and not in standing water with a big old clump of mud on his ball.
Right.
And I heard some golfers, Chad, you might know better than I do, as far as
I'm sure I will,
ball
but-
up or ball down in the hand. Like, you know what I'm saying?
What now?
Man, yeah. Instead of mocking me, why don't you listen to my question? Some of the golfers thought that they were going to have them because the freestanding water was going to be an issue, and then there was a difference in how you would have them drop it, ball up or ball down. You know what I'm saying at all? Does
To
that
me,
make sense?
whenever you bring something you bring, I guess, something that you can't control into play. Like one person can hit a drive 2 feet away from another person.
Mm-hmm.
One guy could have a big clump of mud, the other guy can't. To me, that's not fair. To me, they should have played it lift, clean, in place. Now, whether or not that had an impact on the final standings, we'll never know.
Well, what
Probably
were they
not.
doing instead of that? Lift, clean, in place.
It was just standing water. Like you can't touch your ball unless you were deemed to be in standing water, to where it was almost like a puddle.
Okay, and then when you got to drop it, I guess.
Yeah, you got to clean it and then drop it. As opposed to if they had said, okay, it's lift, clean, in place. As soon as you got to your golf ball, you mark it. You get to clean your golf ball and place it down within, I think it's a scorecard from your mark.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that way it puts everybody on a level playing field. Now again, how much that played in, we don't know. Probably
there were
not
some
much.
shots that the commentators were talking about, like, oh, look at the mud on the left side of that ball, and then the ball would veer whatever way it's supposed to when it has mud on either side. I'm not.
Well, I was pulling for Phil Hart, so I was watching, a lot of what he did, and they said a couple times he had mud on his ball and he hit an errant shot, but then afterwards you saw him kind of rehearsing a swing as opposed to where that was showing he made a bad swing,
Sure.
and it wasn't the mud. So Phil didn't complain about that. Now you could tell he was upset that McElroy and the other guy, whoever that guy was, that shot like 90, in the final round with him.
Yeah.
You could tell he was visibly upset that those guys were playing up with him. He didn't mind that they hit their tee shot, but he didn't seem to. Not
On
that I've
18.
heard. Yeah, he
On
didn't
18.
say anything about the whole lift clean and
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that too because it appeared to me like Rory and I believe he was like Swedish or something. The guy who was playing with Rory, Wisbend or something like that.
Weisberger.
Was it Brand Weisberger or something like that?
Yeah.
Yep.
They seemed to be playing at a much faster pace than Phil and Ricky were. And I don't know if it was because there were people. Well, I guess it's impossible, right? No, it's possible. Yeah, I don't know if there were people in front of them that were playing slow too, but it appeared to me like Ricky and Phil were taking their time with each shot and kind of playing at a much slower pace.
Roy plays fast, and the other guy, Weisberger, probably just wanted to get out of. By that point, he wanted to get out of Rory's way.
Yeah,
His first time there, and he. Not saying he didn't belong there, but he probably felt in his mind, especially after being maybe
we
4 or
went from
5
a 65
over.
in the third round to like a 74, 75 in the fourth round.
Yeah, I sucked today. Yeah, that's what he was saying to Rory.
But no, he had to be second guessing himself, thinking, do I belong here? So he just wanted to get out of Rory's way.
Right. So with that, I mean, is there a right and wrong? Is what I guess I'm asking. Like, is there a point where you say, hey, Phil and Ricky are playing too slow, or is it that Rory is playing too fast?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're out there and you're playing too slow, they'll give you a warning or
Get
whatnot.
put on the clock.
But, this was different circumstance. It's a major. That's like you said, they had to take a couple drops. Wipe. You're standing in that freestanding water. So
We'll end on
And
15.
it all started on hole 6. Hole 6 was playing like 520, par 4.
yeah,
But you could only hit your drive a certain length. So guys were having 230, 240 yards in, and if you hit it off to the side, and like you said, if guys are having to, lift clean, not lift clean in place, but if you're in standing water,
Yeah.
that hole, for some reason, there was a backup there. Phil and Rory hadn't teed off, and Phil and Ricky hadn't teed off, and you saw Rory and Weisberger sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
So when you get one hole like that kind of backs things up, sometimes that can kind of, I guess,
All right.
set the slow place. But yeah, you can get put on the clock, and then you have an allotted amount of time per each shot.
Okay. No, and obviously the delay in itself caused them to play much later and tee off much later. I think they were originally teed off, or the tee time was supposed to be around 2:55, and I think they ended up teeing off just after 4 or
Or
something.
19.
Yeah.
Not that I remember, but
So when you get to the 18th like that, and they showed how dark it was off the camera. It was dark. It was like pitch black dark. When you get to that point, what is the appropriate way to handle that? Because like you just said, Phil appeared to not be very happy about it. Ricky probably wasn't either. But I mainly noticed Phil more than anyone because he was actually under a completely different impression, like you were saying, as he's going up to his second shot. Then he gets up to go where his second shot landed, and then he finds out they're going to be hitting their second shots on.
yeah. Well, Rory acknowledged it. He said, that showed a lot of sportsmanship from Phil and Ricky to allow them to play up.
Mm-hmm.
The thing from what I'm hearing is Phil and Ricky just thought they were going to hit the tee ball, and then they were going to finish, and then Rory and Weisberger were going to finish. Now, Rory and Weisberger still had the option. They didn't have to tee off. They didn't have to finish. They could have stopped at any time, but apparently they wanted to get it done. So I guess you can kind of look at it either way as far as it was still Rory and Weisberger's decision. They didn't have to finish in the dark, but McElroy, all he had to do was make par, basically. Unless Phil's chip had to win in, then he would have had to make birdie to win it. Par would have only tied. So, it is what it is, as far as that aspect. Both of them, you have the option, either not let them play up, or they had the option to not play up.
Right. Someone could have spoken up and said, we're not doing that.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
what happened was basically everyone of the foursomes, I guess, consent.
Now, how about Fowler's second shot on number 16, rather, but he was hitting his second shot basically on the fairway at 15, and he had to walk all the way around, and then his caddy was sprinting up and down 16.
I would have died.
What a shot, right? Right
They
on
had
the
to
front of the
They said he had
green.
to hook it like 30, 40
It
yards
was ridiculous.
out of the rough.
Yeah.
But it was funny because they showed him, he was walking back to 16, and Rory and them were on the green, and you kind of saw him look back like, what are you doing on the green over here? I mean, he's like, I hit it over here.
And you got to talk about when they handed him the jug, the top fell off. Did you see that? Yeah, the top.
I never watched the presentation. I'm done after that.
And it's time to turn that off.
Yeah.
But no, he handed him the jug and the top fell off, and Rory caught it in midair. Oh yeah, it was pretty neat.
The Wanamaker Trophy.
The Wanamaker.
That was pretty cool. Could you imagine if he missed it? It wouldn't be nearly as awesome. But that was probably one of the most exciting majors of the year, right?
For me, I thought it was.
Well, it's exciting coming up because there's no more majors left. So in golf, I'm not a big FedEx playoff fan. Whatever. It is what it is. But for me now, it's all about Ryder Cup.
Oh yeah, the Ryder Cup is awesome.
Do you think Tiger knew, or do you think Tiger wanted to take off? I guess make it easier on Tom Watson and just say, look.
Yeah, I mean, I think that and him coming out. Honestly, I don't think that his body is ready, and he knows that.
Yeah.
And of course, golfers will make excuses for this or that or blah, blah, blah. But, when you're at that type of level, it's like a wide receiver having a hamstring injury. Why get out there and make it worse? Yeah. Why get out there when you know you can't perform at the level that you can? And I think that, he doesn't want to hurt the team, like he said. But at the same token is, if he didn't come out and say this is all everyone's going to be talking about, and it's kind of selfish on his part if he knows that he's at 80%, like he said, is why go out there and play to risk injury or, I think it'd be, I could see Tom Watson going to the level of trying to get him out there somehow, whether it be a consultant or whatever, but be part of the team because I think that would be pretty neat and that would show, more of the human side of Tiger Woods.
And he is Tiger Woods.
Right.
I mean, he's a draw no matter where he's at.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if, heck, if they came out next week and said, well, Tiger Woods won't be playing, but he'll be at the Ryder Cup. Well, people's going to be tuning in. He'll probably still have his own camera following him around.
And those guys do play. In the first 2 days in the team competition, they play 36 holes if you're not benched. Right. You're not going to bench Tiger Woods. So what are you going to ask him to play 36 holes back-to-back and then singles on Sunday?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy can't play 7 holes.
Of course, I'm not the huge Tiger fan that you are, but where it is now, and he comes back, golf's pretty exciting to watch. You got people watching golf now that normally never really watch golf.
You got the new guys coming in, the old guard still hanging on.
Yeah. You got Vijay Singh that I think he makes every cut. Do you ever notice that you just happen to see Vijay Singh on Sunday making a putt or whatever? You don't see or
he's
hear
like he's like Jim Furyk.
Yeah. Well, Furyk is usually up in the top 10 or 15 a little bit more. But Vijay just makes every cut.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He collects one of them big old paychecks like Happy Gilmore. He asks for one of those every tournament.
Puts him right back in this BMW and goes on.
Yeah, it ought to be fun to watch. Like I said, our guy, we're going to have, there's some injuries. Duffner's hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Duffner looked like he couldn't even walk.
Were they saying that could be something that actually career ending? Like
they compared it to the same neck injury of like Daryl Johnston. That I don't know what you call it, but it's that vertebrae towards the top of your neck or whatnot.
It's from too much Duffnering.
Is that the moose?
Yeah,
is that the moose?
Like this, I don't even know what that is.
Well, he must go through about 2 cans of chew during 18 holes.
Gosh. He
always has a career as a mime, that's for sure. I don't think I've heard him say 3 words ever.
He doesn't talk much.
His girlfriend's a little bit thirsty. Might be his wife.
Did I ever tell you the story about I ran into a person at Hooters that worked with that woman's mother, the mother of the wife? Well, that's it. That was the story. What?
No, that's
of Jason Duffner's wife.
That was the story. No.
That was it. And I said, no, you didn't. And then we just went on our separate ways. That was it.
That was a good one, though.
Yeah.
Good story.
Interesting people.
You're an interesting person.
I'm like a magnet for them.
I would talk to you if I saw you.
I know, that's the problem.
You did. Once I talk to you, then I don't want to talk to you no more.
That's also the problem. Yep.
It's that follow-up conversation that you try to get out of.
Why did I talk to this guy?
Gosh. Oh, actually, I do want to say real quick that I walked Lee's Hill for the first time by myself. What day was that? Like a Thursday? Something like that. It was a while ago. Last week. And then I ended up having to pair up with, I think they were 2 brothers. And you could tell one was more dominating to the other because he would say, let's just say his name was Chris. And he was like, Chris, get over here. Chris, come on, it's your shot. Chris, come on.
Weren't they both in the 50s, in their 50s?
Yeah, they were both in their 50s. And the one guy, I guess, the one guy I would say was probably about my level, little over 100, something like that normally. He was hitting all right, but it is amazing to me to watch someone who obviously that's the only physical like activity they do, and then when they swing, and I'm looking at their swing, and I'm like, what in the hell is that? And then they hit the ball and it goes straight. I don't even understand it.
That's golf.
It's the craziest thing ever.
Well,
but yeah, the one guy, he was getting real pissed each time. He was like, just like scream. And
Chris and his brother Daryl.
yeah,
My
and
other brother Daryl.
so I was walking, so I had to
Other brother
ride.
Daryl.
I rode on their cart most of the time on the back, which was awesome.
Did you?
Yeah.
Then
he
you didn't
walked
really walk
Lee's
it.
Hill, but he stood on the back of the cart.
I walked it on the back of a
run.
cart.
Oh, it was only for like half the round.
That's the reason he started playing with him.
Another one of his great stories.
The guys pulled up, looked like he was getting ready to die after he walked about 8 holes.
Come on, hop on the cart.
Hop
man.
on the back of this cart. And I mean, it looks like, are you a straggler? What's going on?
Hey man, they invited me. I didn't say much, and then they were just,
Well, Chad, it's been a while since we put a bet in the cooler or whatnot, and we are going to play golf tomorrow. We're going to play golf at Quantico, Medal of Honor Golf Course.
I'll be getting teeth pulled.
Yeah, I think we'll be having
it'll be like
a lot
that
better
for
time
us
than
too.
you have.
It'll be like pulling teeth. For
If
me
anybody
as well.
plays with y'all, it'll be
Hey,
like that for them.
yeah,
When I play golf with him and Dustin, it is like my teeth are being pulled.
Yeah.
If I have a cart of my own, then I'll be fine.
Hey, thanks for the invite too. By the way, I appreciate that.
We knew your teeth were getting pulled.
I bet you did.
Anyhow,
I'm not in charge of any of these things.
it's. I want you to say a score out loud that you think that you're going to get.
Over. Oh, I thought he had said something already.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Or are you going to break 100 tomorrow?
that's my goal. Yeah, to break 100.
So that's
I'm
gonna
say
be our
I'm
bet.
gonna shoot a 96.
All right.
I'll put your number at 108.
Okay.
Wow. Now you're going to take that bet?
Yeah, I'll take that
All
back.
right, I'll take
Let's
10.
do that.
I get 108 as a tie. 108 is a win for me
Okay.
and over.
Okay.
You get 107 and under.
He gets
Got
zero mulligans.
You
no
get, you
mulligans.
get that first team.
Do I get
mulligan.
two
Well,
off the
first tee.
Yeah.
2 off the first tee.
No picking it up saying that's good.
No, I won't do that.
All right, so that's it.
I will.
I get 108 and over, and I'll put
All
yours
right.
at 91.
Matt, put that on ice.
Not an easy golf course.
You putting that on ice, Matt? It's on ice.
Done.
Yeah. I love it.
Done.
I love it.
All right, so 108, 91.
Awesome. We'll give you the results of that. Maybe we'll even get a couple of
I'll give you the results right
snapshots.
now. I win. That's
Yeah.
a tough golf course.
It
maybe,
is.
Maybe we can video a couple of your drives.
I
and
think
put
we
it up
could.
there.
I hit. Hey, real quick. You know that number 12, water in the middle, 13's on the other side, going the opposite way.
Yes.
I hit my drive out to right beside the 150 marker.
And made
That's
a
a pretty
great
good
bogey.
drive, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, I definitely bogeyed. But yeah, I mean, but still, it was a hell of
Yeah,
a
that's a
drive.
really good drive.
I mean, it was probably the best drive I've hit. All right. We're going to take a little break here, and then we're going to come into our third segment and discuss various amounts of topics within that third segment.
And throw
There.
everything around.
It's kind of a
It's like
catch-all.
a grab bag.
Yeah, I like to think of it like a like a spaghetti little thing there. You put in the water, it goes out and catches all the spaghetti.
We have to. Hey, we did have a fan email us something in. We got to talk
We
about
did.
that.
We're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So stick with us for the third segment. We'll be right back. And we are back for our third segment of episode 5. Thank you for sticking with us through the show. We really appreciate that. Wanted to go into something that we talked about on the last show, episode 4, very briefly. But one of our listeners, Missy, contacted me and sent me an article in reference to something Conway had mentioned that he did not like that the NFL was doing new this year.
Shocker, Conway didn't like something.
Yes, they are implementing the use of iPads on the sidelines, which is supposed to give coaches a quicker way to make adjustments and get, I guess, subs in there or come up with plays or whatever they need to do. So Missy sent me an article here that Conway is not the only person who is not a fan of these iPads being used this year. Another person who's against that would be Bruce Arians, the coach for the Arizona Cardinals. And not necessarily against it, but he simply said, I'm not even going to mess with that, and then put it off on his 75-year-old assistant head coach, Tom Moore, to be in charge of technology. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and we do appreciate Missy listening and sending that in to us. Do you guys have any thoughts
Big
about
shout
that?
out to the Osterhagens.
Yes, thank you, Missy Osterhagen. That was real nice of us, to send in. She's a big fan.
Do I say that that's not how you say
No, their real name is Osterheld.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, do I comment on that? But, okay.
Yeah, you can.
All right, well, yes. Okay.
So what do you think about it, Rodney?
Man, I don't care. I mean,
But here's what I think about it, because I do care.
okay.
Tell us
I
what
mean,
you care about.
What is wrong with the game of football?
Nothing. This doesn't
Right.
change the game of football.
Well, why does the technology have to be there in that game? I mean, to me, is you have a coaching staff of about 500 coaches. Okay, there's coaches up in the box. There's coaches on the sideline.
Is it really 500 coaches?
No, I'm
Okay.
exaggerating.
Okay.
But anyhow, to me, with the technology it's the old school part of it is watching the defense and getting the still pictures and figuring it out on your own and being a good coach.
Okay. So let me ask you this: implementation of things like computerized first down markers, things like that. Does that
That's not
bother you? Or
No, that's not affecting the game at all. You want to have the better technology for the fans to view the game. I'm all for that. Heck, put a camera helmet on. That's,
Like remember when they first put the first down line?
right. I mean, that's
Great.
all fine to make it easier to watch and get more viewers. Okay. Now we're talking about your playbook, your still pictures, everything's on iPad. It's just, I don't know.
you know what I think? I think it's that you don't know how to use those things, and so you're thinking it should all be on a level playing field.
Yeah,
He's
pretty
going to
much.
use them in they got a scrimmage game tonight for Little League.
You know,
He's going to use the
can use
iPad
iPads
tonight.
here.
I mean, but
scrimmage.
what's going to be next? I mean, are you going to have something like in your house? I mean,
Robots.
I just don't. Right.
Send a robot out there to the huddle. Here, T1000, take this T-wing
And
play.
So I was reading up on it a little bit. It's called the sideline viewing system. Okay, that's what the iPads and all that. It's a $400 million partnership between NFL and Microsoft. So, with all the, and also all the referees are going wireless, so they can talk with each other. And I think the total number of tablets were, like 12 to 15 a team or whatnot.
By
When they-
wireless, you mean like I could communicate with the other?
yeah, but
ref.
and of course they're all on a secure network and all of that. But what happens to the part where down the road someone hacks into the system, and you
Yeah.
get to your playbooks? I mean, coaches are some of the most paranoid people on the face of the earth.
Oh yeah,
They are. If you're going there and you're doing a scrimmage or look at preseason games, they'll keep everything as vanilla as possible because they're just looking at the talent that they have. So I know in the back of some of these coaches' minds that, hey, my stuff is just out there on the web and on this network.
So you think 2020, we're sitting in the Patriots coaches meeting, and Bill Belichick is like, "Oh, we did really well out there. Tom was looking really good, and glad to have Gronk back. Jeff, have you gotten our firewall up for our plays? Wonderful. And Tim, have you created the worm that we're going to set into the Jets playbook in their iPads?
Right.
Awesome. Wonderful.
Now, Belichick has already hired a staff of hackers. I mean,
He's already spent $3.8 million
Right.
trying to get it.
Now I've got to go catch
He's
up on
hiring
episodes
people-
of
I
Orange is the
mean-
New Black.
He's recruiting people like Microsoft and Dell and all that. He wants the top technology people to be on top of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and isn't that? I guess that's part of strategy, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
You're talking to a person, I don't even like instant replay. I don't. I never have.
I don't want to see it again.
Remember the old AT&T's, you make the call.
Sports have referees because it's based off human nature, human mistakes. Mistakes happen, and understand with the millions of dollars. But if you look at, I would like to know the percentage of plays that are overturned because I don't think it's that many. But referees are kind of scared to make that call now or whatnot. You've seen the change in it, and I understand the change because of what's on the line. But to me, it's a pure game. It's set up for mistakes. Heck, you can, like everyone says, you can call a holding play on almost every play.
Yeah.
You can call pass interference almost every play.
So what about that Fail Mary that happened in Green Bay? Remember the Fail Mary pass?
Oh,
with the backup referees,
Seahawks.
like I just said, you have backup referees.
Right. Could technology have prevented that in some way?
Well, to me, the bottom line is the technology doesn't have any place in the game unless it's making it easier to view the game.
Yeah.
That's what I like to have that old school approach.
I think we need to just go full robot referees.
And don't try to reinvent the wheel.
Right. It's a good game. Don't mess it up.
I think we need little Johnny number 5s rolling around the field.
He was Johnny number
You know
5.
Johnny number 5. Johnny 5 is alive. Come on, man. Short Circuit. Or Short Circuit.
Shorts.
Good grief.
Did we just have our first short circuit
We had a
reference?
short circuit reference.
Well, then, Johnny 5 comes, first down,
But anyhow, Missy, thanks for listening, sending
Yes.
that in. We
Yeah,
do
thanks,
appreciate
Missy.
it.
We do appreciate that. We know we have one fan. That's good.
And there was a great picture of Jason and Logan Thomas. Really appreciated that. Thank you.
And he's your favorite player, right,
He
Logan
is.
Thomas?
Well,
Yeah.
if he keeps going 11 of 12 for 100 and some yards and a touchdown, he might be my favorite player.
He's definitely going to be on your fantasy roster coming up.
Logan Thomas, we'd love to have you in studio. If you're listening, it's all shtick. I really think you're the best player ever. You can come in and join us on Three Frosted Mugs. That would be great.
Look! This is what was on there.
Send us a
Jaworski says
retweet.
Thomas's most impressive rookie QB.
Yeah.
Love it.
So good
But
stuff.
let's switch gears a little bit.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the big story that's going on in NASCAR.
Yeah, very sad, tragic story. Kevin Ward Jr. Killed on the track in a collision with Tony Stewart's vehicle, running him over after getting out of his vehicle to go at Tony Stewart, pretty much for flipping him over.
What you see a lot in racing now, get out, throw your helmet, and so forth.
What was that? Matt, what are you doing? Are you playing a game over there?
Sorry, that was our IM system.
Oh, okay.
Our producers over there playing solitaire. You just won.
Yeah, it
All the
does.
cards shuffled
Spider
around.
solitaire.
But no,
It happens a lot.
It's a tragic story. It really is. I mean, he was a young kid, and Tony Stewart, and I'm sure that his reputation has gotten the best of him. I'm sure he had no intent in the world for all of this to happen, but with it happening, there's going to be some rule changes going on. I
You
mean,
can guarantee that's going to happen. Somebody dies after something like that. I mean, and I think and it's a terrible tragedy, but it should have been in place by now. They did a interview with Earnhardt Jr., and he's like, these things happen more than you think, but because of it was Tony Stewart involved, it's drawing a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
But there has to be some kind. You got cars that are coming around turns that are going. I don't know how fast a sprint car goes, but just say a NASCAR. I mean, you're going to upwards of over 150 miles an hour.
Right.
You should not be allowed to get out of your. I mean, it's going to happen, even if there's penalties involved. Guys get heated. It's just natural human instinct. But there has to be some kind of penalty enforced where if you get out of your car and there's other cars coming at you speeding,
That you should get. Do they not find them at all or anything like that?
I don't know.
I'm
but
sure
I-
they do.
They do get
Probably,
fined.
but it's not of any significance. I'm sure.
Right.
if it
Right.
is.
Right. So you're talking about actual penalty, like maybe, hey, you don't get to race in the next race.
Like
or,
3 or 4 race
Yeah.
suspensions without pay.
Yeah.
And, I mean, old school NASCAR. I mean, back there in the Bobby Allison days
Yeah.
and all of that. I
Cale
mean, they'll-
Yarborough.
right? They'll come and start fist fighting right there on the track.
Yeah.
But they were going like 45 miles an hour, right?
Everything was restricted.
right. But no, I mean, it's everybody's going to have their view on this. On did Tony Stewart swerve a little bit to try to scare him, and it got too,
But not
got
even
away from him. But the family of this guy is going to want some type of justice in this.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
what is justice though? Like that's the
Right.
point being made. Like if he's the one who put himself in that sort of danger, and I think you're right. I don't think Tony Stewart was like, I'm going to hit this kid. But even if the thought of going through his mind, I'm going to scare the hell out of this kid, or I'm going to throw dirt on this kid, or anything like that. I mean, where's the line of who's at fault there? Obviously he didn't mean to hit him, but he did.
Yeah, there was no malicious intent, going through his mind.
Yeah.
You'd have to think.
Yeah, I mean, but what if you're out on the regular road and you're just playing with your car being dumb and go up onto the
It's
go up to
involuntary
the side of the
manslaughter.
road? Right.
But again, he was in the middle of the track. It's not like he was even like
Right,
on
no,
the side of the
I-
wall.
Walking towards.
Right. I mean, I
If I'm
agree.
walking down 95 and I'm in the middle of the lanes, that's different than me walking along the side of the road and someone
Right.
swerves off and hits me. I mean, it's a terrible, awful, awful thing, and it shouldn't have happened. And that's the problem. Like, you see people get pissed on the road just driving to work. Can you imagine if they're in a race and they're driving a
Yeah.
vehicle? How much adrenaline is going through their body at that moment?
And the whole situation makes it worse because Tony Stewart is the one that spun him out.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Stewart has a history of being hot-headed and
All signs point towards Tony Stewart.
right.
But that being said, I mean, there's really nothing. I mean, even if they find Tony Stewart, even if they find him guilty, let's say of the maximum
Second,
thing.
third-degree manslaughter.
What good still that doesn't bring Kevin Ward back? It doesn't help his family. It may help them out. Say, oh yeah, well he got what he deserved. Well, what if he didn't deserve it?
Yeah.
It's just sad. There's nothing that can happen that can bring him back. And it's just hopefully once this moves forward a little bit, and the family realizes, hey, it's an unfortunate incident. It happened. Forgive and forget. Even though it's tough having to go through that. hopefully that they'll see the light and say, you know what, let's just let's not mourn on his death. Let's kind of just celebrate his life. I guess
probably happens a lot where another racer is the reason for the death of the other. You know what I mean? Like I don't know the whole story about what happened to Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, well,
but I would imagine he was
Dale Jarrett
pushed into a wall, right?
Well, I mean, they were racing, and Dale Jarrett got into him, and he hit the wall. No intent to wreck him or anything like that.
It happens probably 10 times a race. I mean,
it just to me is getting out of your vehicle like that and. Everything that goes into it's such a situation that I've never really heard of.
When you see how they take those turns on those dirt tracks and how much they slide as they're taking those turns. I mean, this was right on it, if I'm not mistaken, right after a big turn too, right? Yeah. When he gets out of his vehicle.
But, one thing I did read online, that, of course, the father, Kevin Ward, spoken, and, of course he's upset. And, he said, was Tony Stewart the only one out there that didn't see him? Because no one was driving that high on the track.
Yeah.
It's just... It's one of those things where, of course, there's no intent there, but...
So you're saying his dad was saying that he shouldn't have been up on the high part of the track like that?
Right. Like, if you look at the video, everybody's down low, and...
Well, a couple swerve. A couple of them swerve out of the way.
It's just... And I know that, his father's overcome with grief and everything, and, and these stupid accidents happen, but I've never heard of this before, and you don't want to sit there and... criticize the guy for getting out of his vehicle because that's like a normal practice now. You're mad, you get out, you point at the car, and but this I hope that ends it all because honestly, if I was out there and the last thing I want to do is get on the track with 30 other cars going 100 and some miles an hour.
I don't know if these are similar, but to me it's kind of the idea of if I'm a defensive football player and I run and hit someone with just my head and I snap my neck, I know that chances of that happening are probably going to be pretty great, especially with the way that we've been informed over time with, hey, that's not good for your brain. So I find that to be the same thing. If I get out of my vehicle and there are other cars going at 80 miles an hour around a track, I'm safer in my car. It's definitely it was a stupid move to begin with, and it's very sad, though. Very sad thing. Well, let's move into the next very depressing conversation that happened in the past couple of days. That would be the passing of Robin Williams, 63 years old.
Tragic loss, man.
Yeah, and it's one of those situations too. Like you do have that young man who dies in a terrible tragedy, obviously had no intent on dying, and then you have Robin Williams who now what we've been told is that he committed suicide. That's what we've been told, which is very sad to think someone so happy and so influential in so many people's lives as a positive could have such tormenting demons that they're fighting with. But, one of the things I just wanted to say is like Robin Williams for me was a big part of my childhood and a big reason of why I chose the paths I did in school and early on. And, to lose someone like that in this world who probably could have been here for much longer is just a very sad thing to me.
Yeah, I mean, classics. I mean, he's just... as far as not just kind of the person he was, obviously he battled demons. I mean, going through rehabs and obviously battling severe depression. I'm sure had something to do with him doing whatever his drug or alcohol of choice was. Mm-hmm. But I mean, just the movies alone. I mean, I guess his breakthrough was what More from Work when he did the little
like
skit on Happy Days, and then that just turned into all of a sudden Robin Williams, man.
Yeah. Me and my wife's first date was going to see Miss Doubtfire.
No,
that was our first date. I swear.
Hello.
That's crazy.
That's when Ronnie started dressing up as an old British woman.
Yeah, that's what I meant by paths in my life. I started cross-dressing as a granny.
Yeah, but
oh, gosh.
Unless you're in these guys' situation, the fame, the fortune, and all of that, and it's
you don't know,
right? You don't know.
Well, if you're already battling that, then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you have millions and millions of dollars, and you already have a drug problem, and now you're in Hollywood and it's everywhere, and you can afford to partake whenever you wanted to.
Sure.
I mean, those kind of things just, compound together. I mean, my favorite movie, just probably because it was, I lost a nephew at 6 years old to cancer, but his favorite movie was Hook.
Love Hook.
That'll be one of my, I haven't watched it since his passing. I can't. But Hook, man, was just, number one.
Yeah.
So I
loved Hook, man. Hook was great.
Yeah. Captain
Peter
James
Pan. Peter Pan.
Hook. Great movie.
Who plays Captain Hook?
Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman.
Come on now.
Man.
This isn't Ash Chad. I would wear Ash
Not
Chad.
as shit. Of course, Good Morning Vietnam. What's some other ones? The Fisher King. Just as great.
Dead
as
Poet Society.
Dead Poet Society. Just as
Good Will
great of
Hunting.
a dramatic actor as a comedian. And very rare that a person can make that sort of transition.
And he's one of those guys that's been around for so long that it feels like he's one of those actors that you feel like
It
Yeah.
feels like he's my uncle. I feel like I lost an uncle. It's really sad. It's
Yeah, when I
awful.
heard it, I was kind of like, all right. Well, I don't even really know this guy, but man, that's Robin Williams is gone. It's kind of sad.
This was the way I felt when I heard Chris Farley passed away. This is the way I felt when Jim
How about
Varney
John Ritter?
passed away.
John
John
was-
Ritter. Yeah.
I mean,
I grew up on Three's Company.
There are people that you just
Come and
feel are
knock on
going
our
to be
door.
here forever.
how about let's take it. It's kind of sad. Let's take it to something. You got some big news over there, huh? Something to kind of cheer us up. What's the
Uplifting
news you
future.
Yeah, shout out to my daughter Lainey.
Lainey Reed.
She made the she's going into high school this year. Had tryouts for volleyball. She made the volleyball team. So, congratulations,
I
Lainey.
see you, Lainey Reed.
She's going to be, and she's going to my old alma mater, Spotsylvania High. She's
What
gonna be-
position in
what?
volleyball
I
can't
is she
say
playing?
your
Alma
alma
mater?
mater.
Alma
Alma
mater?
Don't think we
Alma
weren't going
mater.
to call you out on that.
What is
Your
the
alma
song? What
mater.
is
She's
your
going
alma
to my
mater
old
song?
school.
What's your song for the Spotsy Nights?
SPOTSYLVANIA fight.
That's not your alma
God,
mater. That
I'm
was just
sorry.
a cheer.
That's
That was just a football
That's way
cheer.
too long too. I mean,
We
the first
believe.
quarter's over. I mean, by the time you
ridiculous.
spell out Spotsylvania, first quarter's done.
So she's on
I
the
don't know what
Spotsylvania
it-
Knights volleyball
She
team.
is a Spotsylvania Knight.
What did you say to her when she found out?
I said, congratulations. She called me and she told me. And I said, you're a Spotsylvania Knight. And I said, well, you know what? I said, you can borrow your dad's old Letterman jacket.
And because
She
you're
is-
so old, it's a
she's
Letterman
like-
sweater.
Yeah, that's true. And she goes, ooh, Dad, I would never wear that.
Good
But-
for her though.
Yeah.
Good
so
stuff.
it's
Yeah, that's awesome.
so very excited about that.
And then football season starts off for the younger
and
Reed boys.
That is my two sons today. We have our first scrimmage with
Yeah.
the Spotsylvania Vikings Senior League. So good luck to all those boys today.
Hey, big
got a
things
little
going on at the
scrum.
Reed house, man. Your wife
Hey.
just turned 27. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on at the Reed house. Good stuff.
Yeah, when you have 4 kids and it's kind of like that every day. It's a new adventure. So, but
Good
no,
stuff.
congratulations to all of them.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I was just thinking today, I mean, there is probably no cooler, like just waiting for something than your first scrimmage of football as a little kid when you're, 11,
Oh, yeah.
12 years old. And especially when
Well-
you have no school and you're just waiting for that all day long.
Oh, I'm sure a bunch of those kids, they're playing up in the new bigger league this year. Half my team, so I'm sure they're a little bit nervous today, thinking about it, which is a good thing. We got a good group of boys. That
Well, Trent's on my fantasy football team for Parks and Rec.
hopefully we'll get them a couple catches today.
Yeah.
Real
Get a
quick,
couple
I don't want
points.
to. I know we're running out of time, but I've got to tell. While we're talking about sports, we got a buddy of
We're
ours.
talking about sports. What is this show about?
While,
We're talking about something else.
while we're talking about, we got a buddy of ours, Anthony. I'm not going to say any last names, Bowie, but he's an athlete. He's in shape, works out. So we had a tennis match, and I killed him in ping pong. And he said, I told him, I said, I'll beat you with anything with a racket. And he's like, there's no way. I said, all right, well, we'll play tennis. So we ended up going and playing tennis, and I prevailed 6-3, 4-6, 6-3.
I love it.
So I dominated Anthony, but I'm a better athlete than Anthony Bowie.
Yeah,
I've
I would have
always
to say
considered
so.
you to be.
I just want to put that
I
out
think
there.
his muscles are slowing him down.
Well, plus he's like 46 years old, so
He is getting up there. He was old.
so just wanted to put that out there. Hopefully we can have like a little thing up there. It says Chad over Anthony 6'3", 6'3",
I
4'6",
honestly-
6'3".
We'll get you a cup.
I honestly think, and I'll throw this challenge out there to him if he listens to the show. I honestly think that he can't run the 40 in under 5 seconds anymore.
Really?
Wow.
I'm gonna put that out there. I think he's lost a step.
I want to go. I'll take
I'm
under.
gonna
Matter of
say-
fact, I'll do 4.75.
5.03.
I got 4.75.
All right, Anthony, if you're listening, you have a challenge thrown at you.
We need to get you on the badminton circuit to get you some exercise in. All right.
How about you, Rodney? What's going on interesting with you?
Not a thing.
All right.
Nothing. Okay, yeah. So, is there anything else that we want to discuss? Oh,
Not a
also, is it next episode we're going to be focusing on
Fantasy.
fantasy? Is that
Yeah,
right?
there we go.
All right. So next episode
Fantasy
we're going to be
focus.
delving into fantasy football, fantasy focus. I like it.
Yep.
We're going to be discussing some hot draft picks that we might have thoughts on.
Some
also,
super sleepers.
super sleepers, super deep sleepers. And then, just I guess maybe some strategies too, and depending upon what size league you're in, we could probably look at that too. As far
we'll
as what
probably
you're
keep
going
it
to take.
standard, 'cause, I mean, there's
Never
only,
mind.
I mean, you've got there's 8 different league setups you can do. So we'll
Well, I
keep it
meant more
standard.
like number of people,
12
like
people,
teams,
8
like
people.
12, 8.
No.
Does that matter? No. You're just picking Peyton
It does
every
matter,
time.
but I mean, we only have an hour show.
That's true. That's true. Well, we'll touch on that next time. We do appreciate you listening to the show today. And like Missy, please send us articles or thoughts or questions, anything you might have that you want us to talk about on the show, or maybe you want answered on the show.
As long as it's not about hockey or soccer.
Yes, not hockey or soccer. The only hockey thing I will say today is...
Oh, wait a minute. We don't have time.
Never mind. Listen, for the Three Frosted Mugs, we certainly appreciate you watching the show today. I want to say thank you to AJ Studios for the post-production and graphics work. And for the Three Frosted Mugs, I'm Rodney with Chad and Conway. And we just want to say, may all your parlay dreams come true.
So long.
So long.